Happy Bruce Campbell's birthday, everyone!
Yay!
Reason to celebrate. I posted the previous video on Friday the 13th as well, so keeping it festive with Splatterhouse.
And I'm wearing my Camp Crystal Lake t-shirt as well. Seriously.
I believe you. You've proven your dedication. So this is the final level of Splatterhouse 3. The Dark Crystal, is it? Something like that.
I don't know. I'm
Dark
sure
Stone.
Yeah, Dark Crystal's a movie.
Yep, that's why I got confused. Talking all about all those goddamn movies.
Someday we'll learn. Today is not that day.
Woo! Evil One rules!
Dark One! Dark One! Dark One!
I have no idea where we actually are. That's a matter of confusion for me. I should be used to it at this point, since I've had no idea where we are this entire game, but...
Yeah, I think at this point we're in some kind of, I don't know, ancient Sumerian temple or some bollocks like that.
Yeah, I guess Rick's basement either goes there, or the Dark Stone teleported us there or something.
Given
There's
the rest
apparently
of this
something
game,
in the manual. It says some shit about, like, an Aztec temple, or some Mexico temple.
Yeah, to be honest, given the game so far, it would not surprise me if it turned out this was actually in his basement.
Anything's possible at this point.
Hi, my name's Rick. I have an ancient temple in my basement. Would you like to come see?
He's just begging for evil spirits to invade his home. And it happened.
And in the background, a man made of finest beef jerky.
Thankfully, trapped in a cage.
Despite all his rage.
Yep. He's ripped in half, he has no legs. So he wouldn't be too much of a threat.
Yeah, remember those hands from Splatterhouse 2? They weren't much of a threat.
Very true.
They didn't have legs either.
The thing about the possibility of this being like a Aztec temple or whatever the hell isn't in the original Japanese version. Like, they have a different explanation that I don't know what it is. But that does mean it's probably just made up. Some bullshit that they threw into this version of the game.
Yes, and they had even less of a clue than we did, so they were just like, Aztecs!
What did we just make?
Blood sacrifice, yeah, that'll do.
Just make everything red and pretend it didn't happen.
Sounds like my last date.
Speaking of making things red, we now have a palette swap version of these fuckers we've been seeing for dozens of levels now.
Yep.
And they learned the slide attack, which is really, really annoying.
This is basically the stage where the game pulls out the stops and just goes, you know what, we can't be fucking bothered either. Just pain everywhere.
Very, very true. I had to go through stage X before going to this level in order to grind up some extra lives, just so that I didn't game over for the 10th time in a row. So this room with the black dogs here is kind of a crossroads. We can go to the left after we finish killing these dogs, and that's the shortest route through the level, but it skips more than half of the stage. We wouldn't even see most of the rooms.
Here.
You're not wrong, but I'm actually going to take a big loop, go around the parts that are missable, and then come back here.
Because these fights just weren't tedious enough.
There's so much great scenery and shit out there, though. See, here's a visual example of what I just said.
I mean, those statues in the background look like they belong in one of the Alien vs. Predator movies.
Yeah, there's a lot of good scenery here, at least. Not a lot of good gameplay. The enemy's health has gotten way too ridiculous, and their damage is through the roof at this point.
Yeah.
These red tumor guys are the worst. They have, like, this weird AI where they screw around just out of reach as much as possible, and then when you're indisposed, they charge in and attack, knock you down.
Kind of reminds me of the Dominatrix enemies from Streets of Rage. They had a nasty habit of staying just out of range as well.
Yeah, that's probably the same sort of trope that they were working with when they made those fuckers.
Yeah.
And they also do a really annoying thing in these scrolling sections that you can't go back in, which is they spawn a tumor guy at the beginning of the stage when you're halfway through it, And then he takes forever to come over because he is programmed to avoid you.
Got Satan's candy cane there.
Goes well with the mask. There's another new weapon in this stage as well, which is another reskin of an old weapon, but that's what all the weapons are in this game.
Well, if it's not the cleaver or knife, then not really much point to using it.
Yeah, the sharp weapons are great, but everything else is kind of underwhelming. And there it goes. Not gonna miss you.
Yep. Rest in peace.
And thankfully done with that little section. This is the stage X that is available after every stage. Oh no! Mirror Rick!
Ah!
Kill it, kill it! All I gotta do is touch it, I guess.
Someone was definitely a fan of HR Giger in this room.
Oh yeah. R.I.P. Not so much this room, though. They're also not a fan of the player because they're throwing more phantoms at us.
Oh, Bicky Smalls.
Oh yeah, I mentioned that they're like burlap sacks full of red, bloody meat, just like Biggie Man is.
Yeah. Kind of like a cross between Biggie Man and the death fetuses from the last game.
Oh yeah, that gross boss with the chainsaw.
Yeah. Maybe those were his kids. My god, we're a monster. Wait, no, we're not. They're the monsters.
Seriously.
Man is the real monster. No, wait, it's the monsters.
Yeah, hard to feel bad for those guys.
Back in the HR Giga room.
Yep. Or Darkseid ripoff. Scenery.
One of my friends was asking the other day if it was really cheesy to have 3 HR Giga prints on the wall together. She just moved into her own flat and she's starting to decorate. And my response was, well, no, but I'm kind of biased, so I'm probably the wrong person to ask.
Yeah, seriously. But I mean, any right-thinking person knows the answer to that question.
Yeah. Then again, this is a guy with a poster from Nier and Tsutomu Nihei art on his wall. And if you don't know who he is, then seriously check his stuff out.
I've got Edvard Munch's The Scream on my wall.
Fantastic.
Which was referenced back in Wanpaku Graffiti.
Classical art references.
Yep. These games were made for me.
Durr.
I say that as I'm frustratingly getting knocked around the room and dying. Ah, the spin attack. So reliable.
Basically the only thing you need to use after the second stage.
Yeah. I've heard in the Japanese version of the game that there is no spin attack.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, I'm not 100% certain that's accurate. I've seen evidence on one website that refutes it, and on a long play of the Japanese version that confirms it. So I don't know which to believe. It's very confusing, like everything about Splatterhouse 3.
Could be that it was what sometimes happens with early cartridge games is they release a version 1.1, which usually is just to take out or add in features and bugs. Like the one that comes to mind is Revenge of Shinobi, where they changed the Spider-Man, Batman, and Godzilla characters.
Yeah, I remember Ocarina of Time, when you killed Ganon, he had red blood and they changed it to green.
Yep, and there was also some Muslim chanting in the background as well.
Nice.
But yeah, sometimes you release an undocumented version 1.1, you only really find out if you check the ROMs. So it could be that they released an updated version somewhere down the line.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a pretty good explanation for the discrepancies there.
I mean, I don't know why they would, because I mean, most of the most of the time when it happens, it's because of a big game-changing bug. Or game-ending
not
bug.
having the spin kick is a big game-changing bug in this game.
No, it's just proof that there is no just and rightful God in this universe.
Only
Basically,
the
Lovecraft
Terror
was
Mask.
right.
That's what the remake is all about.
Pretty much.
So this is the correct way to go when you play this level yourself. Don't do what I did, kids.
Unless you have a lot of patience and hate yourself.
Basically.
Or just hate yourself, you know, one or the other.
That's the main reason to play this game. The secondary reason is that it looks awesome.
Oh yeah.
But, I mean, you've seen all that now, so... Now the main reason is self-hatred.
Dude, what are you still doing here? We wouldn't be here if we could avoid it. I'm not
There's
even
the
looking at
real-
the screen, I'm just playing with my cat.
I can't blame you. There's the real beef jerky man in the cage back there.
Drenched in delicious hot sauce. Like a kebab. He's a kebab man.
Delicious.
Right.
And here's our new weapon, which is a cement block reskin. Very exciting.
It's more like some kind of stone book.
Yeah, for some reason it makes me think of like a broken altar, but there are no
Yeah.
altars anywhere. But that's the impression I get
Yeah.
that they were going for. All just conjecture though. And that's a white door there that leads back to a previously entered room. White doors are all one way, I don't know if I've mentioned.
I don't think you have now.
Yeah. An important note when you're trying to map out your way through the level. There goes the brick. Didn't need it anyway, because these guys always go invisible when it hits them.
Dex.
Yep. These are the last ones in the game, though, so...
They shall be missed. Oh wait, the other thing. Who cares?
Exactly. Good riddance.
Just looking at them with the way the cloth is still draped around their heads kind of reminds me of that portrait of Picasso.
I can see that. There's another white door that leads to the very first room of the game. So if you accidentally run into that, you have wasted a lot of time. Back in Gigerville on the other side of the map.
Kind of homely.
Yeah. It's where we belong.
We didn't have those.
The sprites of those guys have merged into a single sprite.
Very body horror. Giger would be proud.
He's drawing terrible pictures of angels now.
Actually, one of the things that he said was that the main reason he got into art in the first place, as I recall, was because he was constantly suffering from night terrors. And it helped him cope with his nightmares.
He's a narco sculptor.
Yep. So he basically, if he winds up in hell, he's going to be like, "Ah, God, thankfully, I wasn't crazy."
I'm back at home. So we just came from one golden teleporter door and going through another one, down to the spear room, in an
Need some
even
more candy canes.
more terrifying background world. Doesn't matter if I take the weapons or not, because this room is an obstacle course, I call it, where it just knocks everything out of your hand.
Oh,
Yep. Every stage
came in
has
here
one,
with-
and
you came
after
in there
the
with
second
full health.
stage, I believe, they're required
left
to get
with,
through the
you
level,
know,
which is
still
why you
practically full.
can't finish the level in any reasonable amount of time. And getting through that obstacle course, we got this guy. I hate this guy.
guy's kind of a dick. To
Yep.
say the least.
It's at least as hard as the boss of the first room that he's a clone of. It's got like a stream of vomit acid that does just crazy amounts of damage.
Yeah. At this point, it's kind of...
Yeah, it really doesn't want you to win. It's a game that hates you. Pretty openly. And I believe this is the lowest difficulty that I have it set on.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the exact difficulty differences. I'm told that there's more enemies in the higher difficulties.
As long as it's... Games like this, it's either more enemies or more damage.
Yeah,
The
or
ones that
possibly
really
both.
hit you have both.
Yeah.
Stuff like Actraiser 2.
I certainly hope they wouldn't have you fight both of these guys at the same time, because I don't know how you would win that.
Crying lots, mostly.
Yeah, the hardest room in the game that I mentioned in the last video was two of these guys, slightly weaker, but still just unplayably difficult. So I can't imagine what two of these actual guys would be.
Probably one tanks in front of you, blocking all the time, while the other just sort of vomits acid on you from a safe distance.
Yeah, like the defensive aspect of these guys is the worst part.
Yeah. They'd be manageable if they didn't block everything.
Yep.
Not fun, just manageable.
If this were a time stage, I don't know if it would be possible to finish it within the time limit. Fortunately, our ending was locked in as of the result of the last stage, whether or not David died. So we can't screw it up here, and there's no alternate ending for this stage, so it doesn't matter what you do, as long as you live.
Easier said.
Yeah, basically. This is the last room before the boss, so I couldn't Hulk out to kill those red guys, but now I've got plenty of resources to take on the final guy, the evil one.
Crystal Cathedral.
Yeah. Rapid, sudden change of setting. There he is, the evil one. Last seen in hell.
And looking like some kind of crystalline Mexican wrestler.
Yeah. He does look pretty goofy. Much goofier than he did in Splatterhouse 2.
I think it's the fact he doesn't really look like he has a proper jump animation.
Yeah, a lot of his animations are very stilted, and his, like, idle stance is absurd with his arms raised above his head, trying to menace me like a bear.
Arr, I'm a monster!
I'm the ultimate evil.
My mom thinks I'm cool. Milhouse von Satan.
And yeah, he's just an annoying prick. Does negligible damage. Still a lot, but I mean, compared to everything else doing 3/4 of a health bar in a hit, not
Yeah,
so much.
The only real tactic he has is knocking you down.
Mm-hmm.
And then occasionally he'll start throwing fireballs right when you're vulnerable again.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yep. Once he starts throwing fireballs, you have to just wait it out and dodge them, or else you are gonna get hit.
Yeah. Everything
You'll
else
just keep
is
doing them for a long time.
Everything else is just you trying to close the distance and headbutt his nipples.
Yep. And he sure doesn't like that, so...
Of course not. You ever had your nipples headbutted?
Not
No laughing
lately.
matter, my friend.
Then he turns into the Thing. As you do.
See, whenever people say The Thing, I instantly think the John Carpenter movie, which probably says a lot about me.
That it does. As much as the Giger stuff earlier did.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite films of all time.
Rightfully so.
Last job I worked in, I mentioned it was one of my favourite films. The guy sitting next to me, nothing to do with the conversation, instantly turns around and says, I hope to God it's the original.
He's not wrong.
What the hell do you take me for? Alright then, just goes back to his conversation.
And also, I certainly hope the Fantastic Four movie isn't your favorite of all time.
Roger Corman one, yes.
Ah. Not the Jessica Alba one.
Try to forget that exists. The only good thing about it was Michael Chiklis.
Relevant talk to the final boss of Splatterhouse.
Come on, we've seen everything that can possibly do.
Yeah, he's pretty lame.
Only other
The
thing to
grandma
do is-
face attack is pretty cool, though.
Yeah. Nice callback to, was it stage 4 of the last game?
I want to say
Stage
stage
two.
2.
Yeah, stage 2, that's right.
Yep. It's weird that is basically the ultimate evil, though, because that's like what's controlling this body.
Yeah.
And now we've exercised it.
So long, grandma face.
Yep. See you in hell. Literally.
At last, we are victory.
Yes, freedom from evil. Evil is over. And welcome, congratulations from the evil mask. What the?
Getting kind of a phantasm vibe here. It's never over.